All right, average rate of change. So what is the average rate of change of the quadratic function from x equals -1 to x equals 4? Another way that we can kind of look at this, and that is a little crazy. Let's see if this will work better here. Okay, so I know that one of my x values is -1 and the other one is 4. I need to find the y values so that we can calculate the average rate of change. So we'll talk about that, what that looks like in a minute, but first I want to find the y value so I can do it. So I'm going to start by taking my function and I'm going to start by evaluating it at -1. So that means I plug in or I substitute in -1 everywhere that I see x. And this is just function notation. It's just a fancy way of finding y at -1. Okay, I'm going to take that expression and I'm going to plug it into my calculator. So -1 all squared plus 4 times -1 minus 8. Do it all at once and I end up with -11. So that is my y value when x is -1. That's my first coordinate. So then I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm going to do it when x is 4. So I'm going to evaluate my function at 4. So I'll have 4 squared plus 4 times 4 minus 8. And again, you can just take your calculator and plug it in like you see it. So 4 squared plus 4 times 4 minus 8, and I end up with 24. Now I have both coordinates. Now I can find the average rate of change. If you'll remember, the rate of change is your change in y's over your change in x's. So change in your y's all over your change in your x's. That just means that you're going to subtract your y's on top, and then you're going to subtract your x's on the bottom, and then you're going to divide. So if I start with my second y, 24 minus -11, and then my x's 4 minus -1. So when I simplify this, two negatives make a positive, and this is going to turn into a positive 35. And then 4 minus -1 turns into a positive, that's going to turn into a 5. And 35 over 5 equals 7. So my average rate of change of that quadratic function from -1 to 4 is 7. It's a positive rate of change. And you would just type that answer into the answer box.